an omniscient knowing without sight or thought, an indecipherable omnipotence, a mystic form that could contain the worlds, yet make one human breast its passionate shrine, drew him out of his seeking loneliness into the magnitudes of God's embrace. The little ego's ring could join no more in the enormous spaces of the self, the body now seemed only a wandering shell, his mind the manifested outer code of an imperishable inhabitant. His spirit breathed a superhuman air. Ashwapati's spirit mingles with the heart of eternity. It has become one with it. He has become one with it inseparably. A new dynamism rushes into him. He soars to yet higher, viewless heights. Even as Ashwapati rises, a strong descent leaps down, descends from above. It is the rush of a might. It is the rush of a flame. It is the rush of a beauty that is only half visible to deathless eyes. It is a violent ecstasy. It is a dire sweetness. A strong descent leaps down, the rush of might, of flame, beauty, ecstasy, sweetness. Ashwapati's nature shudders to the unknown's grasp. In that descent, his nature shudders. In a moment that death cannot seize, a new boundless change takes place in him. A power that is ruthless, ruthless like love and happy like heaven, a power that is greater than them both, greater than love and heaven, draws him out of his seeking loneliness. The omniscient that needs no sight to see, that does not need thought to know, a form that could contain the words in it. It is that omniscient who drives Ashwapati into God's embrace. A greater foe than the earthly holds Ashwapati's body. Strange energies rush into it. The triple cord of mind is dissolved. The cord of the physical mind, the vital mind, the mental mind, that has disappeared. Mind that gives rise to illusion, that is no more there, that has disappeared. Ashwapati's spirit now breathes the air that the humans don't breathe, that the humans can't breathe. It is that air which he breathes. The God who had remained imprisoned in him has become free. Nothing can now veto his actions and his movements. Ashwapati has grown vast. Here is a being in time, and he is invading nature with the infinite. Ashwapati's scope has assumed unwalled dimensions. This giant ignorance, this dwarfish life, it can illumine with the prophet's sight, invoke the Bacchic rapture, the furious goad, in our body arouse the demon of the God. Call in the omniscient and omnipotent, Awake a forgotten almightiness within. In its own plane, a shining emperor. Even in this rigid realm, mind can be king. The logic of its demigod idea in the leap of a transitional moment brings surprises of creation never achieved even by matter's strange unconscious skill. On the margin of great immaterial plain, in kingdoms of an untrammeled glory of force, where mind is master of the life and form, and soul fulfills its thoughts by its own power, she meditates upon mighty works and looks on the unseen links that join the parted spheres. Assailed, surprised in the fortress of herself, conquered by her own unexpected king, fulfilled and ransomed by her servitude, she yielded in a vanquished ecstasy. Her sealed heretic wisdom flows from her, fragments the mystery of omnipotence. Secret nature is no secret to Ashwapati. She is now fully open to him. The bright burning splendor of his will has taken charge of everything. What seemed, what was impossible until now, that has become an accomplished reality. The iron law of earth is broken. The grip on matter has been loosened. Now, even the moments can be immortalized. The energy that were locked in the depths got liberated. Life can illumine this ignorance. Life can waken a forgotten strands. The strands which had been lying dormant in us. Yes, those life can waken up. Mind can bring surprises to matter. It turns out that mind is but the edge of might of the secret nature. Because of her, it can work miracles. It carries out all the works because of her and give rise to miracles, things which would otherwise seem impossible. On the borders of great immaterial plains, nature meditates upon mighty words. She looks on the unseen links. She brings the light to the mysterious realms. She makes words partners of her unfathomable deeds. She liberates the suppressed reality. Ashwapati has taken command of this nature. He is her master. She was helping the evil until this moment. But now she has set herself to eliminate it. A greater despot on whom she was ruling till a little while ago, it is to him she is yielding. He has tamed her. Her own swift and prompt and unexpected king has conquered her. She submits to him in a strange ecstasy of defeat. Ashwapati's spirit has attained freedom. Freedom from the workings of nature. All the unknowns look out from the boundlessness. Their shadows gleam with the birth of the gods. Their bodies signal the bodiless. Their foreheads glow with the oversoul. The forms of these unknowns come from the unknowable. Their eyes carry the dreams of the ineffable. Their faces stare into the eternity. Transcendences of nature flame in a crowded light. What stands behind is a giant glowing order. This universe reveals world upon endless world, world of superconscious light and joy and thought and truth and love and power and majesty. There is a ceaseless ascending and descending hierarchy, joining the extremes of creation. On the manifested plane as present spirit and matter. Behind them is the foundational absolute, which is the firm and resplendent void, ready to deliver. If there is inconscience, it shall find the heart of its truth. If there is superconscience, it shall fulfill the purpose of it being there in the will of the Supreme. Indeed, all the world simply try to express the unexpressed and the inexpressible one. Yes, the worlds are trying to express the unexpressed and the inexpressible one. The eternal voice draws strength from deep silence of the luminous presence. Above the present immortal changeless realms, the realms of dazzling gold. In between, expand the deathless countries of the One. Below are the flaming potency of the Spirit. These countless potencies are waiting for manifestation. Ashwapati could enter into it. He must explore the meaning and purpose of this multitudinous expanse of the self. He breaks into another space and time. Ashwapati becomes the traveler of the world. He is a seer, looking for truth everywhere. Truth even in the depths of darkness. The truth of darkness itself. He is looking for life even in the realm of death. He is looking for beauty in the smile of every little creature. He is looking for joy which sustains the good and the great and the grand, the joy that sustains everything. Ashwapati is not looking for truth and life and beauty and joy just for that seeking. He is not only looking for truth and life and beauty and joy. His concern is to bring them down into this mortal world. His concern is to bring into this mortal world truth and life and beauty and joy. That has been his pursuit. That is his concern. His entire endeavor, his entire effort, his entire work is directed towards that, to bring down truth and life and beauty and joy in this world of ours, in this mortal world.